Absolutely. I think it's human nature to be, to be amped up and want to go into those knee-jerk reactions or say the thing, or if you get upset with someone in a work or a relationship, you want to bite back quickly or send that snarky email. And,
Do it.
I've done it, and there have been times where I'm like, oh, that felt so good. But then, I have to suffer the consequences of it down the road. And, you learn, know better, do better, like Maya Angelou says.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
But exactly what you said, if you can create the space to really figure out what you want to say and how you want to say it in a kind but strong, truthful way, it really does benefit, I think, both parties. And you can't control how someone else is going to hear what you have to say. You might have it all prepared and what you think is going to land the most compassionately, and they might still not like it. And that'll be painful.
But at least you did your best. That's
exactly
what you want. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dream Leapers. I'm your host, Harriette Cole, and I have a wonderful guest today, someone with whom I share a lot of interesting intersections. So I can't wait to talk to her. Let me tell you who our guest is. She is Michelle Maros, a writer, podcast host, and co-founder of the nonprofit Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. Don't we love that? Michelle has dedicated her career to helping people cultivate mindfulness, peace, and purpose in their everyday lives. Through her writing, her podcast, Life Happens with Barb and Michelle, and her work with Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life, which she founded alongside her mother, Barb Schmidt, Michelle has touched countless lives with accessible tools for self-care, reflection, and inner strength. Just right up my alley. She's a sought-after speaker and teacher who believes in the transformative power of mindfulness to not only heal individuals, but to uplift entire communities. Today, we're going to learn more about Michelle's journey, her vision for making peace practical, and how we can each bring more calm and clarity into our daily lives. Please join me in welcoming Michelle Maros.
Hi, that was such a fun intro. I loved it.
Well, I love learning.
Hyping it up.
Yeah, I love learning about you and about you and your mom.
Yeah.
That you know, so I guess it's 3 months ago I lost my mother.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
95 years old.
Oh,
had a full life and experience together, and we talked every day. And so I still talk to her, even though she's not physically here. But I love watching you and your mom talk to each other and talk about life from two different perspectives, two different generations.
Yeah.
And it's clear that you're very close.
We are.
Tell me about your relationship with your mom and what's so special about it to you.
We are. I feel like I wish she was in this conversation with us. Maybe we'll have to have another one with her because she would love to chat with you as well. But yeah, we are very close. We've been working together, first starting with the nonprofit Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life that you mentioned, which, my mom has been practicing and studying meditation, mindfulness since I was born. Part of her story is that she went into treatment for an eating disorder of bulimia when she was right before she had me. And it was in that treatment that she learned about meditation, mindfulness, yoga, therapy. Like, I feel way before it became so, modern and popular as it is now. So all of that to say, I grew up with a parent that did that and prioritized all of those elements, which I feel really grateful for because she did plant those seeds within me, even if I wasn't a meditator at, age 15 or anything like that. Fast forward to me being an adult and kind of transitioning out of my professional 9-to-5 corporate jobs and I went to school for journalism. I liked to write. I was trying to figure out something that really mattered to me in my career. And my mom had been giving courses and workshops and lectures at our local universities about meditation and mindfulness, and was trying to pivot it into something that really had structure, and our worlds collided again. And I said, I can help you. I can help you write your newsletters or help you with social media while I'm trying to figure this out. And she said, that'd be great. I don't know about this and that. And I kind of just expected to, do it for a summer, and it turned into, now over 12 years later, we work together. But back to your point, we are super close. We've always been close personally, but now working together is kind of a whole nother level and layer of close, to which it's been a really interesting process, especially now as I'm an adult and obviously she's an adult, and managing our boundaries and having separate time, working time, personal time. It's a lot to juggle. And I know we get questions a lot on social media and in our podcast, like, you guys look like you have the perfect relationship. How are you so close? I wish I was like you. How do you have it all figured out? And to that, we always say, like, we don't. We fight a lot. It is a lot of boundaries, and it's been a lot of work to get to where we are. But I do feel super grateful to be in this space and have this be a part of my life, that we do get to be so close and work together.
I think it's fantastic. And so you have a book that's coming out later this year.
I know.
And your mother wrote the intro to the book.
She did.
And I don't know, is it maybe the first or second sentence when she says that she battled an eating disorder,
yes,
the eating disorder of bulimia, and as a result of that, immersed herself into meditation. And I read that and I said, wow,
so
this is the fact that she is as transparent as she is, that she puts it right out there. This is what happened to me, and this is what I did as a result of it to heal myself.
Yeah.
I give her tremendous credit for doing that, and especially doing it with you. A lot of times parents feel like they have to put on their best face.
For sure.
We are not supposed to do anything wrong. We're supposed to be as perfect as we can be. A lot of parents do not feel like they should tell their children what any of their shortcomings have been, because what'll that mean?
For
and
sure.
the mother has put it right out there. I'm going to guess that probably helped her to be able to wrestle the disease down, for starters.
Yeah. For sure, the openness and, from hearing what she has spoken to me about with her own journey in recovery and healing, it is about being open and honest, honesty about your feelings and just your triggers. And that, she in her treatment program, did a lot of AA because, eating and addiction, those dynamics go hand in hand. And so she talks a lot to me about how working a practice and being truthful with yourself, and then of course with other people in your life, is really how you can stay in recovery from whatever,
Sure.
ailment you have. But with her, with eating, and, as I got older in my teens and then going to college, where I started to really have my own insecurities or struggles with food and body image, it was really helpful for me to have her talk so openly about it to me. Like, like you said, we often think our parents are perfect, or that they have to show the perfect front to us. And when I had my own struggles, and hearing her say, well, these were my struggles, and this is what I faced, and this isn't something that's unique to you. So many of us face these struggles, but B, it's okay to talk about it, and it doesn't make you that there's something wrong with you, or that you're less than because you're having these issues. So certainly I really appreciate it, and it connected us in a lot of ways as well, that vulnerability.
That's incredibly powerful. I mean, I think the best kind of relationship can be between a mother and daughter in particular. I have a daughter who's 21, and we are very close, and she's as a rising senior in college, and as she's kind of making her way, becoming the woman who she will be, it's really interesting that we have a very good relationship. We talk about I don't know whether everything,
Yeah,
but many, many, many things as openly as we can. And I think for both of us, it means that we can support each other, and for
absolutely.
me as her mom to be able to support her, but also to not try to tell her what to do all the time, which is not so
It's
easy.
not easy. No. Even I had a flood in my apartment, and in Florida, we get floods often. And anyways, I had to move back in with my mom while I got my place cleaned up and everything. And those things don't always go as fast as you want them to. So we've had a lot of time living together, which I would not have planned at this stage in my life. But we've had so many conversations of even little things like I'm going to do laundry, and my mom's like, "Wait, why don't you do it this way?" I'm like, I'm an adult. I've been doing my own laundry for a long time now, but it's we fall right back into those dynamics, and it's it can be tricky at times, but it's also kind of fun to just relive that without, when will we ever have these times again to do this? So it's been nice.
It's great. So your podcast that you do with your mom, Life Happens. Oh, how did you all come up with that as the focus, the topic, the title?
Sure.
And share with us some of the things that you all talk about.
Sure. So we actually started the show a few years ago. It was titled when we started Barb Knows Best, and it was my idea. I'd always wanted to do a podcast with my mom because we had been working together for so long, and I thought it would be a fun format. And with my mom being my mom and her having a presence on social media, she'd had so many people tell her that she's almost like their internet mom, or she gives the advice they wish their mom had said to them. And you hear the phrase "mom knows best," and so it's like Barb knows best. So we started there, and that was a great entry point into the podcast world. And this past year, we've transitioned to now adding YouTube, which is a whole nother element. But we also rebranded to Life Happens as a desire to kind of make the show feel more holistic. That there's two of us, not just coming from my mom's perspective, but from mine as well. And also, I had had on my Instagram bio for, I can't even remember, for as long as I can remember, life happens, I write about it, because I felt like life was happening to me, good, bad, or in between. And I'm taking it in as an experience and writing it on my blogs with Peace of Mind, Peaceful Life, and on social media. And I had someone say to us last year, we really like that Life Happens tagline. Have you ever thought about making that your podcast? And I was like, well, I don't know, is that interesting? And they're like, yeah, because it encompasses every aspect of life, which is what you talk about. And there are so many things happening for all of us, especially these days. Life isn't easy, but it's about how we manage it and the tools that my mom and I have picked up along the way to work through difficult conversations or boundaries. And we really just wanted it to be a platform to talk about our lived experiences, bring on other people to share their lived experiences and wisdom, and hopefully have some fun and share some good insights.
So you just rebranded it to Life Happens this year?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Well, yeah. And the idea that you have two generations talking about things, at least, and then when you bring guests on, I guess it's even more dynamic.
Yes, you'll have to come on sometime as well.
Would love to
meet my mom.
I look forward to that. I feel like I've met her by looking at some of your
know. I just know you two would have the best conversations.
Well, consider it done. We'll make sure that
Perfect.
happens. But hearing across generations, I think, is so important. I know I've started my business many years ago, and I've always kept young people around me.
Yes.
Way before I had a child, there was always somebody young in my ear, because I know I learn from everyone, but especially from young people, and vice versa. When you are open to listening and learning from whoever's around you, then you have the opportunity to gain perspective that you just may not have based on your own experience.
It's so true.
When does it get frustrating for you, being the younger, the daughter? Do you find sometimes that your mom is like, I really do know best?
Yes. Well, it's actually funny. We've had a little bit of role reversal lately. She's got her thing going on social media, and she's really learned how to successfully show up there. And sometimes she'll come to me be like, "Hey, Michelle, I think if you posted this or this, I think," and I'm like, "Mom, just," and she's like, "I'm just sharing my ideas." But it is a really collaborative, relationship with work. And I echo what you said about being open to different voices and different experiences. We have a Gen Z colleague who brings an entirely different perspective that even, I always have been the youngest on a team up until now. And now I'm also grappling with the fact that I'm kind of not in that younger bracket. I'm in the middle now. And I think it's important to just be open to, the other expertises and opinions of other people, because we don't know everything, and we can miss out on so much if we are closed off. But we have very funny conversations where, I will say she does know best quite often, and I have to tell her that, and she likes to hear it. But I also like to hear when she admits it to me.
She does.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Dream Leapers with Harriette Cole. I am here with Michelle Maros. She is the co-founder of the nonprofit Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. I just love the title of that. She also does a podcast with her mom, Life Happens with Barb and Michelle. And she has a new book coming out. She's going to tell us about that book as well. So we are very happy that Michelle is here with us today. Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life.
I'm so happy you like that name, because so many people it's a mouthful, and especially typing it out, the website, the email addresses, people were like, "Why did you make it such a long name? It's so hard." And
really,
it was what, we wanted. So I'm so happy you like it.
I like it very much. So I have been meditating for more than 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
And,
amazing.
there are many connections.
Yes.
I mean, the best thing that I've done in my life is to have a meditation practice. And I'm very much a part of a global community of people, and have just benefited tremendously. When COVID happened, I started another show under the Dream Leapers moniker called Dream Leapers Inspiration, which I do every Monday morning. And on that show, we unpack different quotes and thoughts, and often meditate we often do deep breathing and sometimes meditation, just to help people to get on the right page, or not so much right, but grounded.
Yes.
Grounded in our greatness as we move forward. And I think we started it in April. No, the pandemic shut us down in March, and right away we started it, and we've been doing it ever since. And one of the things that I've noticed, which is why I like the title, that all this is to tell you about why I like the title of your business, is I find like 3 minutes can change everything. Just taking a few deep breaths and reconnecting to your own greatness and your own potential can create peace, can keep you from lashing out at someone, can remind you that you don't have to give into whatever the negativity is that is in your life at that moment. And everyone has to deal with negativity. That's part of life.
Absolutely.
Like your podcast, Life Happens. But you don't have to give in to what's happening. You have power over that. And I think when you recognize that, then you can have a peaceful life.
Absolutely. I feel like everything you just said is everything that we believe as well. And, my mom has always said to me that, you can't control anything in the external world. You can't control what happens to you, but you can manage your reactions and responses to it. And that is really where you gain your power. And that's just exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I think so often, sorry, go ahead.
No, you think so often what?
I think so often people view meditation or mindfulness like that if I start to practice it, I can get rid of all of my negative thinking, which obviously we know isn't true.
Right.
But B, that, I'll become so peaceful that I'll get rid of negativity in general. Like you said, we can't get rid of that. And so it's not about eliminating these things from our lives. It's how do we manage it and how do we respond in a way that's not going to add on to the stress or anxiety or suffering? And how can we be more aligned within ourselves when we're faced with these situations? And for me, that's been the biggest game changer. It's when I'm not so reactive in a heated situation, or I take a pause to check in with myself before making a big decision, or before maybe sending a snarky email, or, just those few minutes. And like you said, you don't have to meditate for hours or 30 minutes. Like you can break those rules that I think so many of us think that there are, where a few minutes here and there can make a real impact.
I interviewed the fashion designer Norma Kamali a while ago, and I love her.
I love her. I mean, I've not met her, but I love her.
She's been a meditator for decades, and she lives a very clean life. But she told me that, so in New York City, she has a building where that is her store, but there are multiple floors. And she said to me that sometimes when she gets agitated, or, when things happen and she's not in her peaceful space, she'll just go into the bathroom, put the toilet seat down, sit on top of the toilet and meditate for 3 minutes and wash all the negativity away, and then come out and be fully present. And I just love that.
Yes.
3 minutes can change your life. And when you don't give yourself that few minutes to recollect yourself, to gather yourself back into yourself, to remember that you have power no matter what the situation is. When you don't do that, you often do something that you regret. You say something, give up your power when it is the time for you to engage your power. And I loved hearing her describe that, because as we are sharing, look, things happen. It's like if you were walking on a balance beam.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can walk on it and just walk, and it's no big deal. And sometimes you're teetering and tottering, and sometimes you fall off.
Absolutely.
It's life. But what and who you surround yourself with makes such a difference. Like, I'm looking at your background from the moment that we signed on. I'm seeing this lush green environment.
Yes.
That is peaceful.
I try to come on, especially, sometimes the lighting is a little funky in here, but it is always nice to have the green in the background.
So beautiful. It's, to be in nature.
Yes.
Is something that is so incredibly important. And in the summers, anyhow, I spend a lot of time in what I call my happy place in Sag Harbor, near the beach. And I live in Manhattan, but that's where I spend my time in the summer. And I feel so blessed to be able to do that. But being in nature, especially as one who lives in Manhattan, where there's not that much nature to see.
Concrete jungle.
It really is. And when it's hot, it's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
I have grown to appreciate everything about nature, really. And I have to give my husband credit for this, because he's a photographer and he loves when it's foggy. And, I used to hate when it's foggy. Well, I don't want to look at the fog. And he says, but look at it. Look at how beautiful the mist is. And, paying attention to all of the aspects of nature and recognizing the beauty in whatever is out the window. Like right now it's green. When it's raining, it's something else. When it's, well, you're in Florida, so it doesn't snow, hopefully. But
well, we never know.
Days you never know. But just being able to appreciate what is before us.
Yes.
And not wanting it to be something else, but at the same time, curating our lives. I mean, you curated this experience for us to be able to share that beautiful background with our audience, for those who can see. And I should say, because this show also airs just audio. So what you should know is that Michelle has floor to ceiling windows, I guess. So the wall is glass.
Yes.
And outside it is lush. It's green, tall trees, and I see some red flowers. What all is out there, Michelle? Tell us, for the folks who can't see.
We've got some palm trees. I think we've got some, I don't know what those pink flowers are actually, but, I'm in Florida, so whatever plants can live and sustain themselves in a very hot Florida summer. But yes, there's some orchids in there somewhere, but mostly palm trees and those fern kind of plants, I think. But yes, especially in the summer, it's super hot and humid here, but it is nice to have the trees and feel like I'm in a little plant cave over here.
Oasis. It looks
an oasis.
And just for everybody who's tuned in, just know you really have power over your environment.
Absolutely.
Even if, what do you put on your desk? What do you see wherever you're working? What is in eye shot of you, and what do you want it to be? Mm-hmm. What can you add or take away that will allow you to be in a peaceful environment? So Michelle, I'm curious, how do you define peaceful?
That's such a great question. And it's one that my mom and I talk about a lot in our work, because I think so often peaceful can mean people can think it means passive, or maybe a bit of a pushover, or not so strong. And especially in our podcast and in our work, we like to redefine words and give them, a more powerful meaning. And for both of us, peaceful really means strong and centered and grounded in yourself and in what you care about and in what you want for your life. And so it's not wishy-washy. It's not something that's, uninspiring or, I think down the list of ideals, I think being peaceful is strong and strong in your convictions and strong in your knowledge of self and making choices from that place to protect that, mm-hmm. which isn't always easy. As we know, life is complicated and it throws us a lot of curveballs, but I've found in my life, especially in leaning into this definition of peaceful and, as I get older, having a deeper connection with myself and knowing of myself, when I act from that place of alignment and standing up for myself or setting a boundary or speaking out about something that matters to me, it fuels me and gives me the courage and the confidence to keep living that life from within. And I think it builds. It's like that muscle. And so I feel more at peace in that way of living, which feels great. And you feel happier and more aligned in that way.
I love that you started with strength, because I actually don't know that people necessarily think of peace and strength together, right. But I think it requires a lot of strength. Like you said, it's a muscle to be peaceful. Mm-hmm. It's a choice too. Yes. How do you choose to look at what's going on in your world? I think sometimes for me in this journey toward having a peaceful life, it's also very important who you surround yourself with. So Absolutely. When it happen and you are off center, you're upset, there's some kind of churning energy inside, I think we do need each other, and sometimes we need to talk to other people in order to process whatever is happening. But the choice of who we talk to is so incredibly important. And I often remind people to be mindful of who that person is going to be that they choose, So, for example, what is very common when you're upset is to pick up the phone and call somebody who will happily complain with you.
Yes.
And you just commiserate over whatever it is. You talk about people, you talk about situations.
Yep.
Nah. But what if you call someone who is going to help shine a light on whatever the issue is and help you figure it out, help you to still the fire if there is fire inside of you, and and search for a peaceful solution, one that is strong, but also like even when you have something, you have to handle something that's negative. You have to let someone go from your life. It could be an employee, it could be a lover, it could be a neighbor, a roommate, whatever. When you have to let someone go.
Yes.
I constantly urge folks to do is don't make them roadkill when you do it. No matter how mad you might be, you don't have to kill their spirit, kill them. You spiritually, you can be gracious.
So true.
And recognize, okay, maybe this is not a forever experience, but you want to, I think you want to leave experiences so that you can still fly and they can still fly, that nobody is broken winged in that process. And sometimes it's hard to do.
Absolutely.
If you're upset, if you're really agitated, sometimes you just want to lash out. And I encourage people not to do that. Just take a breath, figure out what is something true and positive that you can say and do as you exit a situation. And no matter how difficult it is, it's worth it to find that.
Absolutely. I think it's human nature to be, to be amped up and want to go into those knee-jerk reactions or say the thing, or if you get upset with someone in a work or a relationship, you want to bite back quickly or send that snarky email. And do it. I've done it, and there have been times where I'm like, oh, that felt so good, but then I have to suffer the consequences of it down the road. And you learn, know better, do better, like Maya Angelou says.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
But exactly what you said, if you can create the space to really figure out what you want to say and how you want to say it in a kind but strong, truthful way, it really does benefit, I think, both parties. And you can't control how someone else is going to hear what you have to say. You might have it all prepared in what you think is going to land the most compassionately, and they might still not like it. And that'll be painful.
But at least you did your best. That's
exactly
what you want. Let me remind folks, this is Dream Leapers with Harriette Cole. We are here today talking with Michelle Maros, and she has a new book coming out. I want to tell you about that too. It is called Dear Friend, a daily self-care book to inspire happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. Let me repeat that. Dear Friend, a daily self-care book to inspire happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. Michelle, what made you decide to write this book? And it's a book of meditations, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a daily, I have it here. It's a daily inspirational book. And so growing up, my mom did write the foreword, like you had mentioned at the start of the show. And since she had been steeped in mindfulness practices since I was born, before going off to school when I was old enough, she would read a passage or something to kind of set the tone for the day for me before heading off and whatever would happen. And that was a practice that really just kind of lasted for us, to where if you just have those few moments of inspiration, of stillness, of peace, of presence before the day begins, it can really build you up from the inside out. And then fast forward to us working together with Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life, it had that similar theme of giving people tangible, digestible insights and inspirations to help them start their day, or to give them motivation throughout their day, where, if nothing else, you can have that little nugget to take with you. And throughout my time, I've been writing blogs, like I said, and this book is kind of an ode to how I grew up with my mom, of this daily inspiration, but also a compilation of the things that I've learned and written about and experienced through my life, with some, reminders and affirmations and insights that you can read daily, or just open it up and see what is in store for you, randomly. But I really wanted it to feel like a loving friend that can be there for you if you need it, especially since life is so challenging. So many of us feel lonely at times, and it was my hope that that could be a nurturing voice for whoever might need it.
When does the book come out?
November 4th.
That's exciting.
So a few months away.
Good for the end of the year when
Yeah.
we have a lot of stress often at
Yes.
the end of the year. And, I have a book of meditations called DREAMLEAPERS Inspiration Words We Live By. And it has 108 meditations in there because, that's a important spiritual number.
Absolutely.
And what people do sometimes is just open to whatever page, and it gives you something to think about and to sit with. I think when we have something uplifting to contemplate as we start our day, it helps. If you set an intention and then you follow through with that intention as you are moving through your day, A, you can be more productive, but B, you also can hold yourself up. So in those moments when you don't feel your best, you can hold yourself up. There's something that can help you lift a little bit if you need that. And I think we all can use a lift.
Absolutely. I love that, holding yourself up, because so many of us, our alarm goes off and we wake up and we're like, oh, what does life have in store for me today? Or I have this presentation or this meeting. And just so many of us often feel such dread for the days that are to come. And again, life is hard, and this book or these messages aren't going to take away from that, but is there a message in here that can help lift you up, or remind you that you have power, or remind you of your inner strength or of your worth, to approach whatever comes your way with a little more confidence or assurance, or whatever it is that you might need in that moment. So I love how you said that.
Yeah. If you look at stats today, while there are many people like you and me and your mom who are espousing the inner journey and the path toward a peaceful life, stats will tell us that there's more of a mental health crisis now than perhaps in a very long time.
The stats are grim.
The amount of meds that people are taking to manage their emotions and their inner world, skyrocketing. The amount of people who are self-medicating, skyrocketing.
Yes.
There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in our world. There are a lot of challenges that people find insurmountable. Sadly, even suicide is up.
Yes.
And for a person to get to the point where life isn't worth it anymore is just frightening at a visceral level. And, I appreciate so much talking to you, because we are trying to get this message across. Life is worth it. Yes. You can have a lovely, easy day followed by 10 tough days. That's okay. That's okay. It's just keep pushing forward, but create that community. It is very important to have a community of people who love and respect you and who you love and respect. I do not believe that we can do this alone. We need.
Absolutely. And I feel like these days it's so easy to become isolated and feel like, if you connect with people on social media or even, through Zooms and things like that, that you're with people. But I think sometimes we forget too the power of, physically being with people, having that community that you talked about that can really help lift you up and remind you of what's true for yourself and for life. Because especially with social media, and, we work a lot with younger people, and just how hard it is on them, but all of us, to fall into comparisons and to compare our lives to someone else that we see doing all of these cool things, or body image and appearance. And it just really etches away at our self-worth and how we look at ourselves and treat ourselves. And if we don't have someone or a group of people to remind us that we're worthy and enough as we are, but B, the relationship that we have with ourselves, to remind ourselves that you don't have to compare yourself to other people that you see online, and that your life and your journey and your lived experience is valid and enough. It's easy to fall into these cycles of negative self-talk and feeling like we're not enough or that we're not good enough.
And the crazy part, I mean, we know, because you're on social media, I'm on social media, you cannot help but compare yourself sometimes.
For sure.
And, you know, most people post amazingly wonderful things that are happening for them.
Yes.
And occasionally people will post negative things. I'm not even necessarily wanting people to post negative things, but more post true things. What is true?
What's real?
What's real? What does real look like today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, I post a lot, and I choose to post happy moments. And I love that there are happy moments, but also I understand that there aren't happy moments all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, part of what I like about, as I was looking at some of your podcasts, is both you and your mom talk openly about those not happy moments. Like, because people could think, whenever you're on a pedestal, like us, we're on a show, so therefore that's a pedestal to some people.
Yes.
Whenever you're on a pedestal, people think your life is perfect. So your mom, I heard her on a recent podcast talk about having been divorced twice.
Yes.
And the shame in that, like, well, what's wrong with me that I didn't get it right? And I'm a meditator, I do all these things, and things happen.
Yes.
Life happens, as your podcast is called. But I appreciate that she talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, because then she shows people, oh, not everything is perfect.
And it, you know, that's such a great point, because even in talking to her about the divorce, the second divorce was something that she initiated it. She wanted it. It was something that she wanted for herself. We both knew that this was the right thing to do, the best thing for her, for us, for the family, you know, all of that. And in one conversation I had with her when she was in the thick of it, she was so upset. And I was like, why are you so emotional right now? What's happening for you? Because, you know, we both knew that this was the right thing. And she said to me, I just can't believe I'm going to be someone who's been divorced twice. And I looked at her and I felt for her, because she was emotional, but I kind of laughed a bit, because I was like, wait, that's what you're upset about? Like, we got that. That is, but, you know, she was raised Catholic in a very, you know, upbringing like that, with the judgment and the shame of that, all that comes with all of that. But I was so grateful for her to, again, to be vulnerable in that moment, to share that was in that moment what was really bothering her, and that she felt shame that, you know, from all of her years of being taught that was something that was to be shameful, that was really giving her a lot of emotion and sadness. And, you know, we had a laugh about it, and she said, you know, thanks for helping me talk through that, because that was really what was happening for her. And I said, this is a great thing to talk about, because I know so many people feel shame in that, even if you don't have that religious ties. Just as women, you know, we feel like if we don't get it right, that there's something wrong with us, or that we're flawed or unlovable. And it's just not true.
It's fascinating how harshly we judge ourselves.
Yes.
I think we all do, but especially women.
Yes.
We have these standards that we have for ourselves.
High standards.
This great or else.
Yes.
And the or else is a challenge. You know, when can you let your hair down? When can you relax? And it's interesting, but I have a philosophy, which I wonder if I'm going to keep this, but I'll say it out loud. I don't really believe in downtime. And so what I mean by that is, I think we want to be very conscious of how we spend all of our time. That can mean there's time for massage, there's time for sleep, there's time for watching TV, whatever it is that you choose to do. But I don't think of it so much as downtime, like time that you can throw away, as much as being mindful of all the hours in the day and what am I going to do with these particular hours.
Absolutely. The intention behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Is everything.
Absolutely. Because I am someone that kind of needs quiet alone time to recharge. Mm-hmm. And to some that could look like, oh, she's just, people call like rotting inside, scrolling or whatever. And I'm like, no, I after a lot of social interaction, I know that I need that quiet space to just be home and to regenerate. And that is intentional. It's not just shutting myself off. And I think being intentional with your time like that is so important, because that is how you create space for, oh, I need to go outside and be in nature. Like you said, I haven't done that in a while, or, I want some alone time, or even just those 3 minutes to go to the bathroom and close my eyes and breathe before I have a big meeting, or before taking a test, or, in my car before going into work. It's like, if you're so sped up and just in a, autopilot, it can be easy to forget that maybe you do have a minute here to just recenter and connect, or maybe you do have a minute there, and those little minutes here and there really do add up and matter.
Precious. Yeah. Hey guys, this is Dream Leapers with Harriette Cole. We're having a lovely conversation with my guest, Michelle Maros. She has a book that's coming out later this year. It's called Dear Friend, a daily self-care book to inspire happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. And she and her mother share this organization they've created, Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. They have a podcast called Life Happens with Barb and Michelle. And just as the conversation that we're having right now, they're having conversations just like this, where they're contemplating life and what's important and how to process what is going on in life. To me, it's so important to surround yourself with people who do this, which is why when we learned about you, we were so excited, Michelle, because we're following the same path.
I love it.
It's really, really lovely to know that is true. I was talking to a client just a couple of days ago, a man who works in corporate America who is trying to break through to that next level, which is one of the things to do. And sometimes he feels overwhelmed and threatened by someone else who's on his team. So, the elbows come out sometimes. You want to make sure you get your way. And what we talked about was setting intentions. So we talked about that a moment ago. You and I wanted to go, we just have a few minutes left, but I want to talk about a little bit more. This notion of you can have your intention for the day, but you can also set an intention for the meeting that you're about to go in, the telephone call you are about to make, the Zoom meeting that you don't quite know what's going to happen. There can be these little mini intentions that you set all along the way so that you bring yourself into alignment with the moment.
Absolutely.
Know that you can have power in that moment. And I know I talk a lot about claiming your power. And sometimes people say, well, what do you mean by that?
I love it.
Yeah. Example. Take a breath, set an intention. When you go into this meeting, what is the outcome that you want to leave with? If you set the intention to reach that goal, you have a good chance that you're going to reach it. If you just sort of wander in, what's going to happen. And even, Michelle, I'll say this because I go to meditation intensives. I used to just go and, okay, I'm open to whatever happens.
Yes.
And now I'm more focused, because what would happen would be so much information would come at me when I stopped thinking and sit to meditate. It was hard for me to figure out what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn. And so now I go with an intention.
Yes.
As specific as I can be. And then while I'm not looking for it, I've already set myself up for receiving an answer to the intention. And I really do find this to be helpful.
Absolutely. And I think it uncovers a level of clarity. So often we're seeking for clarity of purpose, and what do we want, and who do we want to be, and what are we meant to be doing, and everything. there's so much doubt that many of us are filled with, and we often seek clarity. And I think, like what you just said, through intention and connecting with yourself and saying, oh, in this Zoom, I want to show up confident or attentive, whatever the thing might be for you in that moment, it can be a guiding anchor and bringing you back to yourself and what you desire. And I think that it's an incredibly powerful tool, especially in any aspect of lives, in work and business, in relationships with ourselves. The intention setting practice is really, really powerful, and it can be fun too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because what we're talking about is not so serious.
Yes.
It's with the intention of having joy every day.
Exactly. And, it's a reminder that, life can be hard. I can have responsibilities, a lot on my plate. I can feel stressed, but I can also set an intention to add some more joy or fun or excitement as well. It can be both.
Michelle, when does your podcast air?
It comes out every Tuesday, and it's on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Is it at any particular time, or it's just on Tuesday?
It comes out at, I believe, at like 5 a.m. Eastern time. So to get...
It's there all day. When you wake up.
Yes.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a fun conversation.
Oh, your mom. I look forward to meeting her too.
I will. I can't wait for you to come on the show and we can have more chats together.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
And thank you to all of you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed listening to Michelle and me talk as much as I enjoyed talking to her. A reminder, her organization is Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. The podcast Life Happens with Barbara Michelle, and her book that's coming out this fall, Dear Friend, a daily self-care book to inspire happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. Until next time, have a great day and make it count.